Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. Okay, first, my neighbor is using a leaf blower right now, and if you can hear something in the background, it's my neighbor's leaf blower. I apologize. Okay, first, on MSNBC, Chris Matthews had a meltdown during a segment where he questioned whether the United States could make wood in response to trade tensions with Canada. The clip is going viral, and it's pretty funny. Look, Matthews knows where wood comes from, the back of Home Depot. Then Senator John Kennedy proposed a bold new strategy for dealing with AOC. It was an awesome roast. We've got the clip. Meanwhile, a new watchdog report found the federal government spent $4.6 billion on furniture since 2020, even though half of federal employees were working from home. I know this seems crazy, but you try to spend $4.6 billion on furniture and not accidentally buy a few dozen overpriced chairs in Mozambique. I hope I said that right. And finally, Disney's Snow White remake somehow produced more carbon emissions than the newest Fast and Furious movie. So Disney's new Snow White pushed us that much closer to Al Gore's prophecy of destroying the planet. But at least it was worth it. All right, let's dive in. I'm not sure MSNBC knows where wood comes from. Former MSNBC host Chris Matthews had a meltdown because apparently we can't make wood in America.
You see, we get so much of our lumber, our 2x4s, from Canada. Where we get it from? Canada. We get our newsprint from up there for newspapers. The fact is we get it. What are we going to do? Have more lumber made in the United States now? What is our plan now? Oh, we're not going to import wood, so we're going to make more wood? We're going to create more wood? Is that it? A wood's example of that. Wood. Are we going to make more wood in this country because of our trade deal? I don't think so.
It sure sounds like he doesn't know where wood comes from. Look, most of us have heard the phrase that money doesn't grow on trees. But do you know what does grow on trees? Wood. Wood is trees. The United States has approximately 800 million acres of forest land, which covers about 1/3 of the country's total land area. Chris Matthews is over here on MSNBC. What? Are we just gonna grow trees now? Yes, Chris. That's literally how it works. Let me explain where trees come from. You have a mommy tree and a daddy tree, and when they love each other, they have a special hug. During a town hall with Sean Hannity, Senator Kennedy proposed a strategy to deal with AOC.
I consider Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She's entitled to her opinion. I'm entitled to mine. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle. And our plan for dealing with her is called Operation Let Her Speak.
Kennedy's proposed Operation Let Her Speak basically weaponizes AOC's speeches the same way that the CIA used Metallica at Guantanamo Bay. Since October of 2020, the federal government spent $4.6 billion on new furniture, despite most federal employees working remotely. As of May 2024, over half of federal employees were teleworking regularly or fully remote, and a prior audit found that 17 of 24 federal agencies were using 25% or less of their spaces, which is still a higher percentage than the federal workers who know what their job is. Some examples of this excessive spending on furniture include putting $250,000 worth of Herman Miller chairs in offices in Mozambique, Ukraine, and West Africa, spending $1.4 million on art for U.S. embassies, which included spending $200,000 on just 2 paintings. No, these were not Hunter Biden's. His would cost a lot more than that. Now, you might think that $200,000 for 2 paintings is excessive, but have you considered how hard it is to launder taxpayer money through more practical purchases? Art is just so much more efficient. In San Francisco, the Nancy Pelosi Federal Building also got $39,000 for new conference tables, even though workers were instructed to work from home. I'm not sure if they know how tables work, but in order to be useful, they need people. Unless the table was just there to keep the Herman Miller chairs company. And the CDC spent almost $250,000 on 30 solar-powered picnic tables. Perfect for those who enjoy the thrill of wondering if they'll finish their sandwich before their table powers down. According to The Guardian, Disney's new Snow White produced more carbon emissions than the latest Fast and Furious movie. Environmental data shows that the live-action remakes of both Snow White and The Little Mermaid were the most polluting Disney films shot in the UK since 2019, together surpassing the annual emissions of Birmingham and Luton airports. Snow White emitted about 62% more emissions than what a tentpole production should be. But don't worry, they'll make up for it by selling plastic water bottles with Snow White's face on them in all their Disney parks. Thanks for watching Headlines. I'm Wes Austin. Good night.